There are 700 million MMA fans around the world, and now, for the first time ever, they can own a piece of the action. FightID isn't just bringing collectibles. They have a multi-year partnership with the UFC. We're talking fighter NFTs, on-chain rewards, digital video rights, even a crypto-powered pick'em league. And today, I'm sitting down with the guy behind it all, Jay-Z, the CEO of FightID. We're talking about the future of combat sports, the rise of SportsFi, and how FightID plans to turn every MMA fan into a stakeholder. If you care about crypto, fandom, or the future of entertainment, this one's for you. James, brother, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
What's up, man? Great to be here.
It's a pleasure having you, man. So I'll dive right in, man, with the first question being, what is your relationship with the UFC?
We're official partners of UFC. We've spent years working inside the UFC ecosystem with their fighters, with the fans, and that experience comes from our exclusive rights with UFC for the digital assets, including rights to the moments, which you can collect and purchase on UFCstrike.com, and our recently sold out UFC Strike gifts on Telegram. We've learned a lot over the years. We've been sponsors, and we've taken hundreds of fans inside the octagon after the fights and given tours, and it's been a great experience.
Nice.
By the way, just a quick overview for UFC. I mean, everybody's heard of UFC, but it's a global sport with 700 million fans across like 170 countries or something. That scale gives us the opportunity to connect with a real fight culture and connect it to Web3 ownership, which you and I are part of. And we've built FightID around that rhythm. So we run seasons that align with weekly UFC fights. Fans can check in, earn rewards, play the UFC Strike products, and really be a part of the ecosystem. But I want to say this is like just the beginning. So we have a ton of exciting announcements in the near future, and with real world merch, utilities, we're going to tackle some payments down the road and really grow this tribe we call Fight.
And that ties perfectly right in with the next question I wanted to ask you, which is, when you work with licensed digital collectibles, what becomes possible that isn't with unlicensed or even speculative crypto projects?
Well, license changed the entire game. I mean, license means in the case of the Telegram gifts, for example, you can purchase like the championship belt. Those of you that are in Telegram, which is, I hope, everybody in CT, you can't do that without having a license or you will be sued. But digital collectibles, I'm telling you, I mean, I know you and I probably survived the entire up and down NFT craze. Is it back? Is it not back? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if NFT is going to be for everyone, but for those of us that understand the power of digital ownership, crypto is inevitable. Your presence, your identity in digital ecosystem with social media, your presence is here to stay. And the ownership of the digital assets is the proof of that. And we have proven that we have the alignment with UFC on that matter. So in our case, if you know somebody online, you can trade, you can give people gifts. We have whole communities tied to that. They can unlock experiences, connect fans to like fight content. Can I give you a couple of examples, some of the things we've done?
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah. Okay. In our case, we've used, this is only possible with digital gifts in many ways because we know who you are and you know who we are. In our case, we've used our official digital collectible assets to unlock kind of like money can't buy experiences that the fans actually care about. So for UFC 322, for example, we had 30, 40 people there to spend time with Gilbert Burns on the mat. You know, that's UFC adjacent, but Gilbert makes his own decisions. But we have certainly offered VIP tickets. That is something money can buy, but imagine you're surprised for ownership that you get something cool like that. We have exclusive meetups where you can meet fighters and get to know them, like over a period of time, watch fights together, talk, hang out. That's hard to get. Participations like our NFT fight tickets, where fans complete quests, quizzes. You know, when you buy a thing, that's the thing. But when you have a digital thing, it unlocks all these other opportunities, connections, and communities that you otherwise don't have. I mean, I could talk for a lot longer. It's a simple question, but I'm quite passionate about this piece.
And I love seeing that passion, man. And I guess also, since you've mentioned the word ownership, I'd love to dive a little deeper into that because we love to talk about ownership in crypto. So how does FightID turn fight fans into owners, not just spectators?
That's our whole tagline, converting spectators into stakeholders. Well, we give fans clear ways to earn their place in the ecosystem.
Mhm.
Sports, as a sports fan, tends to be more one-sided. You watch, but the brands don't really know who you are. In our case, instead of just watching the fights, right, the
Mhm.
fans can earn points and fight points just by engaging in the Fight ID ecosystem. Climb the leaderboard, you almost
Mhm.
gamify your fandom. That's not for everyone, but we believe that is a
Mhm.
growing fan base.
Mhm.
We all care about, we are way beyond
Mhm.
like airline miles. This is just a very small piece to get us started. But no one throws away their airline miles. You know, there are things that you can get as a platinum exclusive member. That's just a tiny piece of it. We know when fans check into our events like Fight Mania in Dubai, where we had spectators fight attended by UFC fighters and so on. You can boost your points by picking winning fighters on our game, UFC Strike Now, which is really awesome. You have governance for token holders. You get to vote how the war chest and how the
Mhm.
community should be ran and which we should care about. Sometimes we like certain fighters more than others. Sometimes we even want to sponsor and co-host to get closer to our favorite fighters. You know,
Mhm.
that is currently an opportunity that can only exist with this kind of platform. So another example, show up in real life, proof of attendance, you know? So fight points is what you get for doing all this stuff, and it
Mhm.
connects everything. It means fans participate, and the more they progress, the bigger the share of the future rewards and their allocations become.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
In the future, we're also going to tackle payments, merch, financial products, and all of that for the community, which is defined as people who are minting fight points, and in the future, people who hold fight tokens.
I love it. I love it, man. And something that I've been noticing pick up a lot recently, and I'm sure you have as well, is prediction markets. And at first, when I heard of the term SportFi, the first thing that came to mind is sort of the prediction market esque, the betting side of a sport. But I know that SportFi and just crypto betting, there's a difference right there, right? So
Yeah.
what would you say is the difference between SportFi and just simple crypto betting?
Well, I refer to SportFi as something like DeFi, like decentralized finance. This is like decentralized finance of sports. This is how can you make your time, energy spent work
Mhm.
for you in terms of ownership. SportFi for us is the playbook extended from what we call FightFi. Same principle, but it
Mhm.
has to start with combat sports
Mhm.
because that's the sport that crypto has embraced. So if anybody's
Mhm.
going to add like sports to DeFi, it's going to be us through combat sports. Does
Mhm.
that make sense? So
Oh yeah.
SportFi, we're treating fighting as an entire ecosystem on its own. All right. So combat sport works with crypto because look at all the sponsorships. Look at Karate Combat. Look at Crypto Fight Night. I mean, it's the center
Yeah.
stage for most events you go to, right? So in
Yeah.
SportFi, fans don't just predict results, they're building status. They're
It's
tracking
becoming the
participation.
best way. It's becoming the best way to settle beef amidst
Settle
certain
beef, man.
creators.
I mean, we think SportFi turns like momentum into progression, you know,
Mm.
and whereas betting ends when the fight ends. SportFi keeps the fans active like every
Mm.
week, every season cycle. That's the difference. It's
I
here for
like
you.
that. Okay, I like that difference. I like how you highlighted it. What do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions or one thing people still don't understand about this niche or this space?
Well, it's much more than a niche. I have two comments. The first thing I don't think
Mhm.
people understand is just how big and inevitable this is. And I mean crypto, and I mean the digitization of a real world like
Mhm.
sports and combat. I mean, the
Mhm.
sports market is massive. In a world
Mhm.
where everything is trending more AI, there's more screen time. People want that IRL connection in
Mhm.
sports. In addition to other things, I mean, I have a prediction that like theater and music and all these other things are coming back too. Certainly combat sports. So sports project to be something like some ridiculous like $30 trillion by 2030 or something. So this is a huge market, and crypto is growing. All right. In part connected, I think, to the declining belief in our certain financial systems. This is an
Mhm.
asset that you can
Mhm.
manage, use, and so it is going to continue to grow. And most people don't understand how big that is.
Just with the UFC alone, 700 million fans.
Oh, yeah, it is a growing sport because people understand they want something
Oh, yeah.
real. Yeah. Well, my other comment, by the way, is that people think the space is about tokens, and it's not. The real
Mhm.
product is in your identity, your reputation. Like when you meet someone, they have an opinion. Do you own Bitcoin or not? And if you do, when did you get in? Like those are the questions. It becomes an identity question. So it's not about tokens. It's about the value that create community and that project creates.
Hmm.
You know, it's not just about the tokens. So I can
Yeah.
tell you a lot more about how we plan to tackle it. So
One of my favorite questions, man, to ask everyone I meet on this podcast is always about the future because it always helps not just me, but everyone watching understand not where the market or the niche or the brand is today, but rather what is the vision? What is the North Star? And this is why I always love asking this question, which is if Fight ID succeeds, what does the future of fan experience look like? Do you think in 4 to 5 years from now?
I this space moves so fast. I'm on like my fifth cycle in the past 4 years. I can't quite see what the fifth cycle is. I can tell you what the next 2 years looks like. You know,
Uh-huh.
next 2 to 3 years, this thing is going to scale. It's a global
Mm.
fan identity layer for at least combat sports and very likely other sports, which we're already working on. Going to events, engaging in fight weeks, participating in campaigns will help shape who you are in the world of sports. That is huge. Okay, at some point, those of us fans who want to participate actively, engage with other like-minded fans. Yeah, I have 11 pairs of Steph Curry shoes. I went to five, pay-per-view fights, and I have these digital collectibles. I made these picks, and I'm up or down in these prediction, markets. I mean, that's who I am as a fan. I'm a level 8 contender, something like that. For MMA, this means fandom becomes measurable and interactive. Fans don't just watch fights; they're like building history. Oh yeah, we sponsored that event. We got part of that. And of course, people are discussing crypto. So it means real utility tied to real culture instead of just abstract use cases. I'm telling you, Charbel, I've seen it at our events when a guy goes up to the fighter and the fighter's, oh, cool, who are you? And the fighter's like, hey, I went to your first fight, last fight, and the fighters hear this all the time, and they pull out their digital moment and say, here it is, right? And they go, wow. And so I paid this much for it. I traded for it. It shows the fandom and the
Yeah.
feedback we get after every event. The fighters go, your fans are more knowledgeable than any other fans. And
Wow.
that's how it
Yeah.
is. And eventually they're going to recognize, wow, this guy's, minted, 2 million fight points and all that. That's really meaningful. So the end result is a new kind of sports economy where combat sport culture and Web3 finally move together and Fight ID sitting at the center of that stage. And I want to give you one more thing, just quick numbers. These might even be like a week outdated. I actually have them here, but Fight ID right now has over 360,000 unique on-chain users, right? More than 600,000 on-chain transactions, a billion plus fight points minted, 100,000 plus followers on X. We're growing all the time, 20,000 plus on Discord. By the way, fighters show up to our Discord to have conversations with fans. 7 million plus MMA and Web3 users, and we're like a top social app on BNB chain. This is happening now. This is not hypothetical. We've already delivered a ton of fan service. You can just take a look at our X or Instagram. And all of that told us this is what the 2 years are going to look like. There's a new way to think about sports where you are a stakeholder, whether you choose to participate in events, play the games, buy the digital collectibles, invest in tokens. It's up to you how you want to participate. But you compare that to the old way, which is watch, fight, and that's it. It's not the same.
Dude, I love the example you gave about fans walking up to fighters and being able to
Yeah.
show them sort of their identity in a way. Much like we've seen
Yeah.
with NFTs, people expressing themselves with a JPEG of a monkey. People would now be able to show their favorite
Yeah.
fighter, their identity through the history of their interactions together, where they've
Yeah.
supported, when they've started, how much they've supported, you name it.
To my NFT people, I was there with you, man. I got in because of CryptoKitties. I'm a video game entrepreneur, right? I built and sold my company as part of an IPO in 2012. I was a digital artist.
Nice.
Think of what that means. I helped my company help ship over 1,000 games. Half of those games use digital economies with digital currencies. So we
Yeah.
were really excited with digital currencies. And as an artist who worked on Photoshop, you didn't have a physical thing. So when NFTs came in, it's huge for me personally and for my industry. Your early crypto projects was all driven by games. I mean, that's history. That's broadly known history. Animoca was a mobile game company. Gala Tokens and Gala Games was the ex-Zynga crew. And there's tons of examples. The gamers get it, right? To my NFT people, it's back. We're back. It's back. Follow it. But I'm sorry what you went through. I went through it with you, from my CT with NFTs. So this is about to hit the golden age of crypto and digital ownership. That is not investment advice. I can't do that. You know that. That is my personal That is my personal belief and lifestyle belief.
I'm sorry for what you went through. Taking that with
Well,
me.
except the penguin holders, Yeah, I see you, Luca.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, James, brother, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing so much with us here today, man. Thank you so
Okay.
much for
Absolutely.
joining, and I look forward, man, to the future of Fight ID.
If you find yourself come to one of our fights and you'll see. All right. Thanks, Charbel. Appreciate it, man.
I love it. I love it, brother. James,
All right.
see you later,
Thank
man.
you.
Bye bye.
Appreciate it.